Welcome everybody out to podcast number 338. We are going to continue reading the book, The Takt Production System through Lean Takt LLC. Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome everybody. I hope you're doing well. The first recording of the book, The Takt Production System by Lean Takt LLC and Spencer and me was recorded yesterday, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now, you might be wondering, why are we doing this on the podcast? Well, the takt planning movement is going so fast and it's so needed right now that we really need to take some time. So this might take a week and a half, 2 weeks to get through the entire content, but I'm going to record this all for you. We are doing this for free as a service to you. The books will obviously cost money because it costs money to print them through Amazon when they come out. This should be out here really shortly. The final text is in editing right now. And so we really hope you enjoy this. Yesterday was the first section. We'll continue right now with the introduction. Today we're doing a Lean Takt certification with, I think there's 36 people in there. I mean, wow, this is just scaling like crazy. So we're going to continue and we'll do anywhere between 18 and 30 minutes. This will probably be anywhere from 18 to 22. And I hope you enjoy the content. So on we go. I will pick up exactly where I left off. Let's do this. We would also like to mention in this preface a concept that is near and dear to our hearts. In the movie Interstellar, an insightful point was brought up when characters talked about finding a new world to colonize. When explaining the concept of time travel and wormholes, the three dimensions of Y, X, and Z were introduced from a location-based standpoint. Then the question was asked, what is the fourth dimension? The answer was time. As the character in the movie plotted a line through the Y, X, and Z 00 point, it became clear that something happening at that location in time created the fourth dimension. As a result of that movie, we began to say, scheduling is about the visualization of time and space. If our construction schedules do not do this, they do not serve us well. As Marine Corps General Robert Barrow said, amateurs study tactics, armchair generals study strategy, but professionals study logistics. Takt planning does all three. In Takt, you can see the location-based rhythm of the project and its critical supply chains or the logistics of the site. You can also see what needs to happen in those locations and when they should take place. That is the intersection of what, when, and where. And interestingly, the basic unit in scheduling that represents the intersection of what, when, and where is called a takt. It is the cell or box in Excel or takting that houses a takt wagon. You will learn more about this later, but for our purposes here, please know that only Takt accomplishes what all other programs cannot. A normal activity in a Gantt chart or CPM schedule has the element of time and space, but it is vague and barely visible. So the difference is between a database of time and space and the visualization of time and space, and only a Takt unit can provide the visualization of time and space in scheduling. Takt, with stable and lean field environments, will do more to stabilize our scheduling processes, reduce material inventory, eliminate waste and variation, decrease durations, and increase profits than anything else in construction. We must be able to visualize and then stabilize time and space. We want to be clear. You must have a schedule that visualizes time and space that clearly shows workflow, trade flow, and logistical flow, scheduled on a rhythm with the right buffer management, and one that stabilizes the pace of work with what is called one process flow, that limits work in process in order to have a takt plan. Our last requirement for takt planning would be that the schedule has a reasonable overall project duration. If it does not have that, people will begin pushing and the rhythm of the system will be lost. Takt planning is a visual, number one, a visual schedule showing time and space. Number two, shows work, trade, and logistical flow. when, what, and where. Number 3, schedules on a rhythm. Number 4, includes buffers. Number 5, stabilizes the pace of work with one process flow and limiting work in process. And 6, allows for a reasonable overall project duration. If you do not have this, you do not have a takt plan. We should not want anyone labeling Gantt charts, CPM schedules, or other visuals as takt plans if they do not show these things. If this is allowed to happen, takt will get a bad name and the life-changing magic of the system will be slowed. One of the main things that will hurt people and families is the pushing of trades without flow. If you schedule work through areas without flow, you are creating schedules that will fail for the people you care about. Introduction. Flow where you can, pull where you can't, and stop pushing. This sums up our situation in construction. Taiichi Ohno, one of the fathers of lean, said, "Flow where you can, pull where you must." To translate it from manufacturing and apply it to construction, we added, "and stop pushing." Flow is king, it rules all, and it should be our first priority, value, and focus. In construction, when we cannot flow, we will need to pull, and we all know there are situations that, regardless of our best efforts, we think we have to push hard to get finished, but there is a better way. In a similar fashion, and in this order, we must use takt, tools like Scrum and Last Planner, and then CPM only if we must, if at all. At times when the last 3 are used, takt will govern them all. In the classic novel The Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien masterfully uses the ring verse to depict the central plot, reveal the menacing antagonist, and establish the need for freedom from his terrible bondage. It reads, 3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the dark lord on his dark throne. In the land of Mordor where the shadows lie, 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all and in the darkness bind them, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. The wearers of the original 19 rings, leaders of the elves, dwarves, and men, were unaware that their powerful rings were gifted with an ulterior motive and ruled by the One. The One ring's entire existence was to harness and control the other rings, and to dominate the will of the other ring wearers. We would like to use the Ring of Power as an allegory to help illustrate the importance of takt in your professional career. Last Planner, Scrum, CPM, graphical schedules, and many others ultimately work and fulfill their purpose when they are governed by one, and that one is flow. It is takt planning and the use of takt time in scheduling. To follow the allegory in construction, all our rings of power are ruled by one, the ring of flow. Letting our Tolkien fandom take over for a moment, we've written our own ring verse to establish our central plot. 3 kings for the builders under the sky, 7 roles in their collaborative halls, 9 meetings set to scale them, 1 king over all, known as flow, in the land where respect reigns supreme. 1 to rule them all, 1 to find them, 1 to bring them all and in its might bind them, over CPM, Last Planner, and Scrum flow rules to bind them, in the land where respect reigns supreme. We had some fun fitting this together, and while it's a little silly, it shows the keys to success in construction. Simply put, the 3 basic habits of a builder are studying the drawings, working in the schedule, and taking reflection walks daily. There are 7 key positions: field engineer, project engineer, assistant superintendent, assistant project manager, project superintendent, project manager, and project director or project executive. There are 9 key meetings that the team must use in a remarkable way to create stability on the project, which are listed later in this work. They are team weekly tacticals, strategic planning and procurement meetings, trade partner weekly tacticals, afternoon foreman huddles, morning worker huddles, crew preparation huddles, team daily check-ins, owner architect contractor meetings, and team training meetings. The focus is on respect for people and resources as the base philosophy of the project team in these meetings. There is a standing tactical order of maintaining flow, where we can, to guide the team's efforts to create stability and to govern all other systems. 1 ring to rule them all. What is our industry doing now? The construction industry is incentivizing push. True CPM, or the critical path method, when used as a standalone system, inherently pushes with its famous forward and backward paths. Although some CPM experts would argue that through proper logic sequencing one can still model flow in the system, in our opinion, the CPM visual representation fools and confuses project teams into thinking there is a solid plan in the schedule hidden under the excessive detail. It also masks a great many things, including crew ties, flow, or lack thereof, geographical dependencies, and the overall plan and context. CPM has been used since the 1940s, was fully adopted as industry practice in construction by the AGC, the Associated General Contractors of America, in 1965, and is still considered the standard. Even with its widespread adoption and general use, most projects finish behind schedule with crash landings or an accelerated push to the end that expends significant human and physical resources. Why does this happen? One of the first reasons is that CPM is too optimistic. CPM is not a tool that easily shows flow or geographical connections from one work breakdown structure to another. It is hard to read, unintentionally hides inefficiencies, and essentially miscalculates how long the project will take. When the first draft of a schedule is made, it is made with the smallest amount of detail. The system is planned for ideal conditions, and it is not usually tied to the proper project risks and constraints, whereas Takt is somewhat immune to this because it visualizes flow and projects what should happen, not what will happen. So what does happen with CPM? The owner or team bids the optimistic schedule, falls in love with the end date, and as a confirmation bias settles into the psyche of the first planner group, they needlessly give away general conditions and schedule time to save face and please a customer doomed to disappointment when they enter the eventual crash landing with no more contingencies available. CPM essentially slams everything to the left, as close to the data date as possible, and gives the team a false sense of security by calming any possible objections with the promise of calculating float. Although that float is rarely shown or printed on the schedules used. True CPM deceives us about how long projects take. For most users, CPM masquerades as a solid plan simply because it looks complex. CPM attempts to identify what will happen, which is impossible. Takt identifies what should happen. Often people wrongly associate busyness and motion with productivity, and similarly, they mistake excessive detail as an indication that there is a solid plan. This is the second way CPM fools us. It makes us think the plan is better and more complete than it really is. Ultimately, CPM scheduling is a wild guess. Many would argue with us on this, but we have yet to see accurate production rates without advanced takted work packaging that is applied properly within local market conditions that would make a CPM master schedule anything other than a shot in the dark. And the dark part is the main point. Takt is a shot with data and visibility and a flow simulation that even the most inexperienced laborer can read and understand. Sure, there is historical data with certain sequences in CPM, but those same sequences can be used in Takt and do not, in and of themselves, justify CPM as a method. CPM masquerades as a good plan when all it actually shows is a ton of detailed guessing. The third problem with CPM is that it hides the plan in the complexity of its format. Very few builders, even those who create their own schedules, can see the overall plan from a CPM printout that well. CPM experts may argue that the use of filters, hammock activities, graphical schedule printouts, and other tools would accomplish this goal, but these solutions do not answer for nor hold other non-summarized data accountable to flow within the context of the whole plan. The bottom line is that very few read CPM schedules, and no one can fully understand them without a lot of detailed and focused work and effort. CPM isn't practical or efficient. Even a superintendent building his or her own schedule from the start will lose track of crew ties, the logic tie strategy, and the overall flow of the schedule. Humans are just not sharp enough to stay with the complexity of that system. At best, the use of CPM schedules relies on the skill, thoughtfulness, discipline, and good fortune of the person who entered the information in the first place. Our quality, safety, and financials rely on this plan, and knowing the plan in its entirety is crucial. No one can take a CPM schedule, read it within a reasonable time frame, and see the overall plan like you can with tact. CPM is too complex to effectively read and manage. The fourth major problem with CPM is that it has too much unchecked power. Our legal consideration, analysis, and standards are mostly based on CPM. It has made its way into most contracts, and it is difficult to find an owner who doesn't think it's vital to success. CPM is seen as the only way to mitigate risk and safeguard us legally. But even those who do this well admit that CPM is quite a poor communication tool. So it becomes a chore to make it reflect reality either by employing a scheduling team and or having an inefficient series of meetings just to map out the detailed nature of construction. We manipulate and use it for so many pointless purposes that we have become addicted to it through sheer familiarity. Better the devil you know than the angel you don't, right? It's like a tyrannical mother-in-law who shows up to help after a baby is born. It sounds like a blessing in the beginning, but over time, she's bossing everyone around, bad-mouthing you for every move you make, and disrupting your family's peace and stability. She remains in the house only because the damage to family relationships and drama it would cause if you spoke up makes sending her home seem harder than just enduring her presence. Conversely, you might welcome her with open arms if she fit in the way you needed her to, if she had self-control and checked power, and if she would stop abusing your family. In a similar manner, tact can hold CPM accountable if CPM stays within its rightful place, which is under the control and accountability of tact. So what stops us from doing this? Well, ask yourself this question. Do most owners want to see the truth? In a world where developers, owners, and general contractors are all taught to sell the risk of a project, it is sometimes more profitable to hide the truth in a CPM schedule so any possible data trail can be muddy enough to protect parties upstream and force a negotiated settlement. The bottom line is that an owner wanting to transfer the cost of a failed project to the GC does not want a tact plan showing where the owner and designer interrupted flow and created the cost or time delay. This also happens with general contractors. If the GC is not proficient, what would they prefer? A CPM hiding the details or a tact plan showing the truth? The answer is obvious. Unaccountable people, teams, and companies want roadblocks hidden so they can more easily transfer blame and costs. Accountable people, teams, and companies will love tact planning and knowing the truth in bringing the roadblocks to the surface so we can manage around them as a team and win. We want something better for you because you deserve better and you can do this too. As we said in the introduction, there should be one that governs them all, tact. Even if the industry persists in the use of CPM, tact is the best accountability partner. To use another human analogy, CPM is like the spouse that overprograms a Saturday, and tact is the other one who brings the duo back into reality by realistically planning what should be done within the time allotted. In that scenario, the only way to have a great Saturday is to use the common sense partner or pair them together, but never should the unrealistic partner plan the Saturday alone. The fifth problem with CPM is that it institutionalizes hiding problems. Professionals in construction can wrongly adjust a few logic ties and make some well-hidden changes to make the negative float go away. In fact, when using tact, new practitioners might say, "Tact doesn't work. I'm constantly seeing problems in the system and we are not tracking to finish on time." This is precisely because tact is a productively paranoid system that reflects reality and brings problems to the surface. The true lean scheduling system, tact, shows what is actually happening to your project. CPM hides things and builders feel falsely content and happy in the moment until the evidence that the team will not finish on time is irrefutable and oftentimes too late. CPM also contributes to superintendents developing dragon sickness. Dragon sickness, borrowed from the Hobbit this time, is our label for the many non-transparent, possessive, and siloed supers that hoard over their schedule like a dragon hoards over his gold. They covet the power and security that comes from being the only one who knows the plan, simply because they are not confident or competent enough to work with the team and let the team collectively own and know the plan. CPM encourages this bad behavior and destroys collaboration with a promise that the super can reign supreme in the secrecy of being the only one who knows the plan, at least in part. It's ironic that with dragon sickness, the afflicted person never uses his gold, and in like manner, the afflicted CPM scheduler never uses his schedule because no one can understand it. The problem is that CPM lacks transparency. Even though the hidden logic, calendars, and other functions can all be shown in one way or another, it is difficult to report and analyze these on an ongoing basis. There is so much concealed within a CPM schedule that other systems are needed for quality control to make sure there is no missing logic ties, open ends, open finishes, loose ends, redundant logic, loops, bad ties, crew ties, hidden lag durations, an exorbitant amount of predecessors, out-of-sequence activities, status greater than the data date, constraints, negative float, and many others. This entire system has to be monitored in such a way that wastes time due to its complexity and the inability to see when issues appear. It is a temperamental system prone to quality mistakes and errors. It can take up to 7 different applications to properly run a CPM schedule. We have heard some say they can do everything we do in Takt if they build the schedule with Excel first to show flow, then P6 to create the schedule, then Acumen Fuse to QC the schedule, then Acumen Risk to prepare the schedule for construction, then Acumen 360 for recovery analyses, then Graphical Schedule, a program that summarizes a visual depiction of the schedule into an easily understandable Takt plan format, and Adept for design phase. Why take all those steps? We can do all that in Excel, Takting, or Timoti in 1/12 the time. Additionally, there is little value to knowing all these metrics if they only show that the schedule is in trouble without showing why and how to recover it. Takt is the only system that will show the team why and where to focus to recover. You will never recover a schedule without regaining flow, and therefore you will never properly recover a schedule without Takt. Okay, everybody, that's our second section for the Takt production system. We hope you've enjoyed this. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.